Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you how to play Pecking Order. Pecking Order is a trick-taking card game, and here's how it works. So in this game we are using a special deck of cards that goes from 1 to 66. Right? So there's 66 unique cards, and these cards don't have suits. So the cards are color-coded, but the color coding doesn't really mean anything. It just sort of indicates the relative range of the card. The only thing that matters about the card is its number. So what's going to happen is every single player is going to get 10 cards, but you are only going to see 3 of your cards at a time. The way to interpret this is that if we were playing in real life, you would have a stack of 10 cards in front of you, and you would take the top 3 and hold them in your hand. And then every time you play one, you take the next card from the top of your pile to get back to 3 cards. So you keep doing this until you exhaust your 10 cards. All right? So 10 cards each, you are seeing up to 3 at a time. And we're all going to take a turn, and we're all going to play a card. And whoever plays the second highest card wins the trick. So when all of us play a card, that set of cards is called a trick, and whoever plays the second highest card wins the trick. And what they are going to do is they're going to take their winning card, and they're going to place it in one of the 9 spots in the board. So you can see in the middle of the screen here, we have these 9 spots. Each spot is worth a different number of points, and the number of points that these spots are worth go down as you go from left to right, top to bottom. So the highest spot is worth 10, the lowest spot is worth -3. So when you win the trick with your second highest card, you will play your card into one of these spots, and you will immediately get that number of points. All right, so let's see one example of this. So I'm the first player. I'll play a 28. We're going to let these bots play. Bot 1 played the 64. Bot 2 played the 61, and bot 3 played the 4. So the 61 is the second highest card, and bot 2 chose to place their 61 into the spot that is worth 1 point, and now it's bot 2's turn because they won the trick. So if you win the trick, you get to be the first player for the next trick. So that's an entire turn. We all play a card, winner places the card in the middle. Now, what are you trying to do in the game? You are trying to maximize your score across 3 rounds. So in each round, we play through all of our 10 cards. There's 3 rounds in total. Whoever has the highest score at the end of those 3 rounds wins the game. And you get points by winning tricks and placing your card on the board. The catch is that each of the spots in the middle, with the exception of the last spot, can only have 1 card in that spot. If you choose to place your card in a spot that already has a card in it, the lower card gets knocked down to the next rung in the ladder, so to speak. Okay? So let's try to get to that. Let's try to get to the point where that happens. All right, so here we have a situation where I won the trick with a 30. Now, I can place this 30 in any of the 9 spots. If I place it in a spot that has a card, the lower card gets knocked down, and you might start a cascade effect because each of these spots can only have 1 card in it. So if you knock down a card to the next spot and that spot already has a card in it, then the lower of the 2 gets knocked down to the next spot and the next spot and so on until it finds an empty spot, or it ends up in the last spot that is worth -3. So let me just demonstrate that. So currently I have 5 points because I have 1 card in the 5-point spot. Now if I place my 30 in here, the 29 will get knocked down to here. My 30 will be here, so I'll have 5 plus 3. But what you'll see is I'll actually lose a point. So every time one of your cards gets knocked down a rung, you lose 1 point, right? And the card is also in a new spot, so you have to account for that as well. So essentially you get punished twice when your card gets knocked down. So I have 1 card in the 5 spot, I have 1 card in the 3 spot, so 5 plus 3 is 8, but this 29 got knocked down once. That is why I have 7 points and not 8. And as the game goes on, as more of my cards get knocked down, my score will fluctuate, because I'll be trying to claim spots with more points, but then cards will also be getting pushed around. So that is the entirety of the game. It is up to you to figure out when to try and win tricks and then where to place those cards in the middle of the board so that you maximize your score. And just to give you sort of an insight into the strategy here, or some of the considerations, When you win tricks with low cards, that might actually hurt your score because you will claim a spot on the board, but then because your card is low, it can get knocked down a lot and you may actually end up paying the price for winning that trick. So, what you ideally want to do is try and win tricks with high numbers so that you can claim higher spots on the board and they won't be knocked around as much. The final rule is that as we play through these 10 cards in a single round, if you don't win any tricks, meaning you don't get to put a card on the board at any point, you will incur a penalty of 10 points. You will lose 10 points. So every round, you do have to try and win a trick. And that's the entire game. It's super fun. It's very thinky. And because you only have 3 cards to choose from, sometimes your options are limited and you have to try and optimize within those constraints. So if you're a fan of trick-taking games like Spades and Hearts and Euchre, I think this will be right up your alley. We've had a lot of fun with this one. So let us know how it goes and have fun.